Okay, we are on verse number, which one? 40. Okay. '41. Okay. With verse 40, the discussion is that the two camps, Prasangika on the one hand, and the rest of the schools on the other hand, the two camps are there. And of course, I would say that okay, by the way, yesterday Brenslav gave a wonderful the answer to this. So how do you decide which of the two presentations? Both present that the way I present is the path which leads to nirvana. But two of them differ, they are not the same. So how do you decide? So what Brenslav said is just excellent. So with this in mind, these two camps, let me bring back to refresh what we said yesterday, that the Prasangikas, what we say is that for you to attain nirvana, we have to remove the mental stains. We all have the seed of perfection. We all have the nirvana in the form of the potential, and Buddhahood in the form of potential. Don't say that we are Buddhas. Some say that we are Buddhas already. We are from the beginning, we are Buddhas. But don't say that they are wrong also. It's fine. The thing is that, the idea is that remove the dirt and the Buddhahood is there. So with this in mind, many people say that we're already Buddhas. But what the safest thing to say is that when we say we are Buddhas, it can be complicated in ways that some people can be very naive. They think that then they can do anything. So it can be more harmful, create more harm than the benefit. So therefore, we should be, at best, it should be as objective meaning as real as it is, how the conventional world accepts. We are not enlightened, we are unenlightened beings, but we have the potential for enlightenment, with potential to attain nirvana, with the potential to become Buddha. It is like the gold mixed with the dirt. It's not a pure gold because it's mixed with dirt. But remove the dirt, it becomes a pure gold. So to remove the dirt, the Buddha taught, everything is the nature of emptiness and selflessness. The Buddha taught the selflessness. Both the groups, both the camps, they agree with this, that everything is the nature of emptiness and selflessness. In other words, the selflessness. Then what is the selflessness? Then the two groups differ. One said, Prasangika says, selflessness is the emptiness of objective existence. And the other group says, no, the objective existence is just nihilism. So the selfless Buddha taught is what? The other group says, emptiness of autonomous substantial reality. Okay, so if somebody, say as Brenslav said, if someone who is very intelligent compares it to, understand both and compares it to, of course, emptiness of autonomous substantial is very gross in comparison to the emptiness of the objective existence. So now, the two debates, say the Prasangika and the other side. Other side says 14. Suppose like the Hinayanis and ten holders. Hinayanis ten holders is simply means of the philosophers. It has nothing to do to offend anybody else. But as Hinayana practitioner, it can be offensive. Because Hinayana practitioner means that I believe in this. I believe in, for example, personal liberation. And then the people who believe in Buddhahood, they will say, you are Hinayana, you are small vehicle. This is very derogatory. This is very offensive. But the philosophy, for example, say in Nalanda tradition, each student is supposed to study all the four philosophical schools in the Tibetan monastic universities. Each student is to study all the four. And then finally, in your practice, you decide whichever you feel more suitable. Some say that Chittamatra is very suitable. They like Chittamatra. And some say, no, Prasangika is very good. Some say Swadhana Madhyamika is very good. So that's up to individual. But when with respect to the practice, then when you say Hinayana, this is very offensive. So Hinayana is 10 holders. This is fine. There's nothing wrong in it. It's fine. Okay, but the second camp says, non-Prasangika says, but since liberation occurs, liberation meaning nirvana, liberation from samsara, liberation nirvana occurs through seeing the Four Noble Truths. Four Noble Truths in the gross form. Gross form meaning truth of suffering, to the cause of suffering, and particular cause of suffering as what? Which ignorance? Ignorance, misconceiving the self as autonomous, substantial, real. So on that basis, where all the Four Noble Truths are taught as truly existent. So just by seeing this, you can be liberated. This is what this second camp, the non-Prasangika, would say. What is the use of seeing emptiness? Seeing the emptiness of objective existence. So Bodhisattva said, well, why? Because then Bodhisattva produces tries to prove that from two angles. One, through scripture, meaning that what the Buddha taught, and through reasons. He employed both to convince the other side that it is the realization of emptiness of objective existence is required. Okay. Why? Because in scriptures it is proclaimed that without this path of seeing emptiness of objective existence, there's no enlightenment. So this we discussed yesterday. Now the reasons. Okay. So with respect to reasons, when Bodhisattva was about to give the reasons, then the opponents, they come up with one position saying that in the first place you are citing the Buddha's teachings. You, meaning Mahayana philosophers, Mahayana teachers, Mahayana teachings. You are citing the Buddha's teachings. So you are citing Mahayana sutras. And Mahayana sutras are not real teachings of the Buddha. Okay, this huge debate happening in the olden times. So since Arinigarjuna's time, Arinigarjuna, 1st century AD, like 2,000 years ago, so this debate was going there. And the basis for this debate, debate, you understand what the debate is all about? Say, Arinigarjuna, Bodhisattva, they all come up with the sutras. Sutras meaning Buddha's teachings. They say the Mahayana side, and like Vaibhashika, Sautrantika, they are coming up with the teachings of Buddha from the personal liberation side, not from the Mahayana. So these two sides are coming, and then they disagree with what does it mean by selflessness in order to eradicate the mental defilements. What does it mean by selflessness? So these two differ. Because these two differ, the one who follow the Vaibhashika and Sautrantika tenor systems, so they said that your teaching, Madhyamaka, Chittamatra, they are all not taught by the Buddha. This is your creation. These are not the teachings of Buddha. So minor teachings, they are not the teachings of Buddha. This huge debate, discussion there. So why is this an issue? This issue came into being because at the time of the Buddha, that the Buddha gave these teachings, the minor teachings. The Buddha gave these teachings, and then Ananda, who was Ananda? Buddha's main attendant, chief attendant of the Buddha. Then Ananda stood up and asked the Buddha, this teaching, which is the minor teaching, it is extremely profound, extremely vast. then who is going to say after you, which means when the Buddha assumes Mahaparinirvana, when the Buddha assumes to leave the world, who will preserve this teaching? This teaching is so profound. Because of the two teachings, the teachings meant for personal liberation versus the teachings meant to help all the beings to become enlightened. Of the two teachings, the teachings meant for all the beings, this teaching is what the Buddha used to teach so less, not frequently. But the teachings for personal liberation is so easily taught, so easily taught. Because of this, there's every danger. Of course, Ananda, these are the great arhats who could see far away. So he was wondering, so he asked the Buddha that after you, who will preserve this teaching? This teaching is so precious, but who will preserve? It may disappear. And the Buddha said, yes, you're right. Yes, you're right. Say, at a certain number of years, about like in a few hundred years' time, then there's going to be one monk by the name Naga. But there's going to be one monk by the name Naga, and he'll be born in the land of the husk, coconut husk. He'll be born in the coconut husk, and he will take the initiative to preserve this teaching and proliferate this teaching, to spread this teaching. So this is a prophecy which the Buddha made. So for common sense, for our own understanding, what I would say is that if I asked you the question, say the Buddha, how the Buddha teaches, is that Buddha just sometimes gives public teachings, and then sometimes he just walks, for arms round, and then he meets with the local people will request for teachings, advice, then the Buddha gives teachings. So most of the teachings are more like the people privately ask the Buddha, then the Buddha give teachings. So now tell me, say some people will say, oh, I have this problem, my family has this problem, my mom has this problem, my dad has this problem, please, they help us. Oh, I have this problem with the king, and they said like this, so now we're in problem, what should we do? Please help us. And some people will say, our community has a problem, please guide us. Okay, of these different people, which do you think is more in number? The one who says that I have a problem, this is a problem, my family has a problem, please help me, please guide me, versus my community is a problem. My community is on, please guide us, our community, how to go in the proper direction. Which is more common? The first one. I have a problem, That's for personal liberation. My community is a problem for the larger good, not I, it's larger good. So this teaching is so less in number, and teaching for personal liberation is more in number. So teaching meant for personal liberation, today taking the form of Theravada Buddhism. And also in China, Dharmagupta tradition, and in Tibetan tradition, the Mulasarvastivada tradition. So these three things, because that is so widely being taught by the Buddha, and the innumerable, so many of the beings who are practicing this, so it remained unbroken. This teaching remained unbroken, unbroken meaning that these teachings remained so widely spread all along these 2,500 years. So this teaching, which teaching? Teaching meant for personal liberation. So it just remained so widely practiced, widely spread all along these 2,500 years ago. It's as though like it did not really degenerate too much. In India, it degenerated terribly badly around 12th century, 13th century AD. Otherwise, in the world, say for example, like in Sri Lanka, Burma, and Thailand, and so forth, and then in China, Tibet, and Mongolian, and Himalayan belt. So the teachings related to the personal liberation, it just remains so alive. But at a certain period of time, like for about 300, 400 years time, then the Mahayana teaching meant for the larger interest of larger the group of beings, for all sentient beings, that teaching, Mahayana teaching, at a certain point, it disappeared from the obvious, the public notice. It disappeared. It is there. They preserved by some, in some small pockets is there, but overall speaking, is not visible. That disappeared within the span of 400 years. Then, as the Buddha made the prophecy, Arjuna came. Then Arjuna, he revived the Mahayana tradition because that it remained unnoticed for many years. So the people who practice the teachings for the personal liberation, so they are saying that you're teaching your sutras, they are not real sutras. They were just created by Arjuna and these people. They are not the teachings of the Buddha. So this is a dispute, and it lasted since Arjuna's time. Down the line, Acharya, Bhavaviveka, and down the line, Bodhisattva Shantideva, this is in 8th century AD. 8th century, just 1,200 years ago. So all these, almost 1,000 years, all these debates were just ongoing. Okay, so what is the debate? The debate is not about, is about, say, that for liberation, to attain nirvana, to stop the tears of samsara, what is required, what is indispensably required as a wisdom, the wisdom to selflessness. So Prasangika is saying the wisdom of selflessness should be the wisdom to see the emptiness of objective existence, and whereas the other non-Prasangika camp says it is not the wisdom of emptiness of objective existence, it should be the wisdom of emptiness of autonomous substantial reality. So this is a debate. It's not about my tradition or your tradition. It's about the wisdom, identifying which wisdom is required to attain the freedom from samsara, to stop all the fears of samsara. Okay, so with this in mind, for a few verses will be about whether or not the Mahayana teachings, because the Bodhisattva Shantideva cited the Mahayana sutras to say that the Buddha taught that this wisdom is required. Now the other camp says that no, this is not the Buddha. This Buddha does not teach this, and the sutra that you are identifying, these are not the Buddha's teaching. This is your creation. So Mahayana is not the Buddha's teachings. This is what the other camp is saying. So there's a little bit of, and the Mahayana teachings, this is all about, say, the reasons. The reasons, and this is so this is amazing. In particular, I would say that the today's people with the modern education has some downsides, but it has many good sides. Some downside is that they're impatient. They want everything today. This is modern education. Because 2 plus 5 equals 7. There's no ish. Whereas in reality, there are so many ish. In reality, there are so many issues. It's not just 2 plus 5 equals 3. What is that? 2 plus 7. Right? Okay. So this debate will just quickly go. 41. Suppose you then object, but Mahayana is not established as a valid, Mahayana meaning Mahayana teachings are not the real teachings of the Buddha. Valid meaning valid teachings of the Buddha. This is what the opponents are saying. Well, then how about your scriptures? Your scriptures meaning scriptures for personal liberation. Personal liberation. How can your scriptures be established? And if you answer, because they are established for both the parties, you and me, both accept that these are teachings of Buddha. Of course, the teachings for the personal liberation, which means today, which we prevalently see as the Theravada Buddhism. So this, of course, no doubt. Even the Mahayana practitioners accept that these are teachings of Buddha. So both sides accept that these are the teachings of Buddha. But the Mahayana teachings is what the other side is not accepting as the teachings of Buddha. So if you answer, because they are established for both parties, they meaning their sutras, what they consider sutras, teaching Buddha, are accepted by both sides. Theravada, I won't say Theravada, say the people, the following the teachings of the Buddha for personal liberation, and you, the Mahayana, both accept these teachings. Okay. Well, you should accept that they meaning the teachings for personal liberation. Teachings of personal liberation, they were not established for you from the start. Meaning that, okay, say somebody who says that, okay, the teaching for the personal liberation, this is taught by the Buddha, and Mahayana not taught by the Buddha. So this person was once 1 year old, yes? Once he was 1 year old, he or she, most likely he was 1 year old. 1 year old, he had no idea about the Buddha's teachings. So how did he get conviction in this teaching? That this is a good teaching. How? He learned. Before learning, he had no idea that this teaching is authentic teaching of the Buddha. You have no idea. At the start, it is not, you have no idea. So it is gradually you build up, you learn it, and you see that, wow, this is very meaningful, helpful, beneficial for me. So likewise you study, like what Brenslav said, likewise you study Mahayana, right? From zero, study Mahayana, and then practice it, and see that you will see that this is equally beneficial. So it says, well, you should accept that they were not, what you now see as Buddha's teachings, they were not established as valid for you when you are 1 year old, from the start, when you are starting your life. You have no idea of these things. You gradually learn these things. Likewise, you are biased. You have to also learn Mahayana, and then you will see that Mahayana is equally to the teachings of Buddha. 42. Any criterion that would give confidence in them meaning the sutra which I consider as sutra, would equally apply to the Mahayana scriptures too. Which means that if your sutra is considered standard teaching of Buddha, then Mahayana teachings also to be taken as standard teachings of the Buddha. And if acceptance by two different parties could make something true, right? So this is true because we both sides agree. So if two parties agree and then things become true, then the Vedas and so on, Vedas meaning non-Buddhist teachings. It doesn't mean that the non-Buddhist teachings are evil, bad. There's no connotation. Say, with respect to the philosophy, so when you say self-synthesis objectively, then self-synthesis objectively, then people who believe in self-synthesis objectively real, they will contradict. And people who, when you say self exists objectively, then who don't believe in self objectively, they will contradict. So these are philosophical, the debates. So likewise, so what you consider as not a good philosophy, so there are many people, there are many camps who agree on this as valid. So there should as well be valid if this is reason for you that two parties agree, so therefore your teaching should be valid. Then all teachings should be valid because they are accepted by many parties. 43. Suppose you argue, but it is because of Mahayana scripture, but the scripture which you identify as Mahayana scripture, this is disputed. Mahayana one is not disputed. Disputed? Well, because your scriptures are disputed by non-Buddhist. Right? So you say that this is the true, this is authentic teaching, this will liberate you from samsara and so forth, but non-Buddhists will not agree with you. Not agree with you. So your scripture also a point of dispute. And some other sections within your scriptures are disputed by yourself. And within these scriptures, of course, the Buddha taught various teachings depending on the propensities of the individuals. Say, at one point the Buddha taught that the soul or the Atman, permanent, unitary, independent self, the Buddha indicated that such a self exists. Buddha did not say directly. Buddha said that the five aggregates are the loads, and the self is the load carrier. Indicating that five aggregates meaning your body, mind and so forth, you leave them, so when you carry a load, you are tired, what will you do? You will put down the load and then you go to drink water, so separated. So, likewise, body and the mind, the five aggregates, you leave behind, and the self as the load carrier can be separated, indicating that there's a self which is permanent, unitary, independent, as accepted by non-Buddhists. So this is what the Buddha taught at one point. Because the audience depends on the audience. Even His Holiness the Dalai Lama taught Christianity, you know that? His Holiness the Dalai Lama taught Christianity. Right? His Holiness's friend, the Christian father, by the name Father Lawrence, he invited His Holiness to a Christian church. And the Father Lawrence students, they requested His Holiness, please teach us the gospel. And His Holiness asked, where's the gospel? And they brought the gospel. And His Holiness read and explained it. And the people, the Christian students, they're so happy. They never know the gospel as so logical as how His Holiness explained. It's so logical. It's amazing. So what's the problem? So same teacher can teach, say, different contradictory teachings depending on the propensities, different propensities and the dispositions of the audience or the students. So the Buddha taught that such a self exists at one point, and then another point, Buddha taught that taught the emptiness of autonomous substantial reality. How? The Buddha taught that the karma and the ripening results exist, but the self does not exist. This is a very different teaching. Let me repeat it. The karmas and the ripening results exist, but the self does not exist. Meaning that karmas and ripening results, the self as different from this, it does not exist. This is the second set of teaching the Buddha gave. And third teaching, the Buddha taught that all three realms are your mind. Just the mind only was taught. All three realms are your mind. And then, yet on another occasion, the Buddha taught nothing exists truly. Everything is like illusion. For example, say the king of what's that? Samadhi Raja Sutra. Samadhi Raja Sutra, king of the Concentration Sutra. What the Buddha taught, in a dream of a young girl, she met with a boy and saw his death. Joyous was she at the meeting, and anguish over his death. View all phenomena as thus. Like dream, nothing really truly exists. So the same teacher taught different teachings based on the different propensities of the individuals, of the students. So therefore, the thing is that in the teachings which were accepted by the personal liberation seekers, if you really check there, you see that there are contradictory points inside, which the Buddha deliberately taught to help the people with different propensities. So you have to say that these are contradictory inside. So you don't accept all these things literally. So you have to reject the sutra which you accept as valid, should also reject it. 43. Suppose you argue, but it is because of Mahayana scriptures that are disputed. Well, because your scriptures are disputed by non-Buddhists, and some other sections within your scriptures, within your own scriptures, are disputed by yourself and others, they would have to be discarded too. So here, it does not mean that we don't accept it, is your thing. This is not the contradiction. The contradiction is that what they accept as very standard teachings of Buddha, and they separate the two. One set of the teachings, which they say this is very standard teaching of Buddha, and a set of the teachings of Buddha, which they say that these are not the teachings of Buddha, this is your creation. So they're separate. But the Mahayana practitioners, they don't separate. They say that both are the teachings of Buddha. It is only about who the audience. Okay. The next 44. This is very important now. Now 44 down is the reasons given. The reasons. Thus far is discussing about the scriptures, authenticity of the scriptures, and the Bodhisattva was citing the scriptures to say that to attain liberation, just to understand the gross level of faults, the noble truths, does not suffice. One has to see the emptiness of objective reality. Now, Bodhisattva, the Shantideva is given the reasons. Okay, this is very important. So, the reasons will help us to actually grow. So, it says, although the arhat bhikshus are the mind foundation of the Buddha's teachings, okay, for time being, what I would say is that we need to do two things. All of us, we need to do two things. Particularly, these are actually studied in the monastic universities, by the monks and nun scholars, when they reach the 8th or 9th year, not before that. And that too, they study for long, say the months and months. For us, it's just few days. You're getting without any background, few days. So what I would suggest is two things. You do two things. One, try to know what is said there. If I say 2 plus 5 equals 100, it's wrong. But you have to remember what I said. Don't agree with me. Don't accept what I say. Don't reject. Just make sure, oh, he said 2 plus 5 equals 100. You're getting it? I don't agree. But you have to know. Oh, I don't agree. What did he say? I don't remember. Right? This should not be your attitude. What did he say? Are you sure that he said it's wrong? Yes. What did he say? I don't remember. Instead of that, yeah, what he said is wrong. What did he say? He said 2 plus 5 equals 100. It's ridiculous. You can word ridiculous, at the end. But at least you have to remember what I said. So likewise, two things to remember. One is, just what is said here, we need to remember them. Don't reject them outrightly. Don't accept them easily. Remember these things so well. And later on, as your knowledge keeps growing, then these will make sense to us. Okay. Number two is that on top of remembering these things, if you still have energy, then try to understand what they are saying. Okay. So it says, although the arhat bhikshus are the foundation for all the Buddha's teachings, it is hard for you to pass the existence of arhat bhikshus. Okay. Now, let us say that you are Prasangika and I am the non-Prasangika. I'm in the non-Prasangika team. You are in the Prasangika team. You're getting it? So from your point of view, arhat means arhats should have, what kind of wisdom should the arhats have? Minimum. What arhat? Advaita? The wisdom which realizes the emptiness of. Okay. I was blindly following Advaita, and then suddenly I wake up, it's not correct, right? I was confronted that what she is saying is correct. Okay, anyone else? What is the minimum qualification of the wisdom which the arhats should have? Anyone raise hands? Raise hands, raise hands, raise hands, raise hands. Okay, Manish.
Yes, Geshe, wisdom of emptiness of objective reality.
How many agree with Manish? Raise hands. Odila, you agree? Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Manish should be in the front as the representing the Prasangika, right? Okay. And which means that if somebody doesn't, do you agree with Manish that if somebody does not have the wisdom realizing emptiness of objective existence, this person cannot be arhat. You agree? You agree? Yes? Louder, what happened? So the first few days, Ilingo is very fresh. Today what happened? Ilingo? Yes? Very good. Okay, now, so now, what I say, who's I? Non-Prasangika party, non-Prasangika camp. Now, my camp says that no, all these are arhats. So he or she identifies many people as arhats. But they don't realize emptiness. And for you, And because this camp does not practice the wisdom of emptiness or objective existence. This camp at the most practice what? Which wisdom? Wisdom to understand the emptiness of autonomous substantial reality. You're getting it? And on that basis, just keep meditating emptiness or autonomous substantial reality for years and years and years, and the afflictions inside, they calm down greatly. Anger, attachment, craving, fear, they calm down greatly. And they're being respected as arhats. These are therefore abandoned afflictions. Now from your point of view, are they arhats? Why not? Why not? Yes, Drishti. Why not?
Because they have not yet realized the wisdom of emptiness of objective existence.
Because they have no realization, they have no realization of the emptiness of the objective existence. How many agree with Drishti? Okay, good. So, but then they look at them, they have such a glow. So if they say the no mobile, no issue. Right? Cheesecake, not like a dog and meat. Right? Very calm. Look, they are arhat. They are not arhats. They are not arhats. No, they are not arhats. Why not? They don't react to they don't give rise, surrender to the afflictions, attachment, anger, jealousy, so forth. They don't surrender. Why not arhats? Amazing. Right? So the office says, all the mobiles confiscated. Oh, no issue. Please take. Right? And whether pouring, right? Oh, no issue. It's fine. Very calm. Right? And morning you get up, no snooze. No required. Snooze. What is snooze? Well, let me stay for 5 minutes. No required. Right? Ding, get up. Right? If these are not arhat, who's arhat then? Okay, this is a problem. So, from your point of view, although these people, they're really calm, say the emotional control is there, but still they are not arhat. This is very important. This is what, in the worldly conventional world, we see that somebody who's very extremely calm, more controlled, integrity, and then with the label, in meditation, solitude meditation for 2, 3 years, 4 years, people will really see them as Buddhas. You getting it? This is where we have been naive. So these people, they think that, they think that they are actually arhats. Okay, so from your point of view, they are not arhats. Yes, you respect them. They have great control over the emotions. But still, from your point of view, they are not the arhats. You're getting it? And why not? You will say they don't realize emptiness. That's it. And the more detailed answers will come. You're getting it? So you say that you are Prasangika, you have to know all these things. Okay. So first you say that these are not arhats. If these are not arhats, then what I say, I, the representative of the non-Prasangika camp, what I say is that these are arhats. And so from your point of view, these are not arhats. So in those days, to be for example, like the heirs, who are the lineage holder of the Buddha, the heirs, in those days, heirs should be arhats. Because they have the huge responsibility to preserve the Buddha's teachings. They should be the arhats. And like, who is the first heir to Buddha Shakyamuni? Mahakashyap. Who is the second arhat? Who is the second heir? Ananda. You getting it? So, after the Buddha, there were about 7 heirs, which the Buddha already identified. So there are 7 of these the heirs. These were all arhats. And they say to preserve the Buddha's teachings, they say without arhats, authenticity cannot be validated. So because of which, now let's read. Although the arhat bhikshus are the foundation of the Buddha's teachings, to preserve the Buddha's teachings, it is hard for you meaning the non-Prasangika camp, for you, it is posit the existence of arhat bhikshus. So, whosoever I identify arhat, from your point of view, they are not arhats. You getting it? Okay. Because it is, why they are not arhats? Because they have not attained nirvana. Why they have not attained nirvana? Because they have not eradicated the self-ignorance, misconceiving things as object real. Why did they not eradicate the ignorance grasping at the objective existence? Why not? Amale, why not? The mic.
Geshe, the nature of defilement they identify is different from...
No, did you follow my question? First, listen to my question, you know the answer. The question is that, I took it step by step. First one is that, because the people who I identify as arhats, from your point of view, they are not arhats, because they have not attained nirvana. Why they have not attained nirvana? Because they have not eradicated the defilements. They have not eradicated the afflictive obscurations. Why not? They have not eradicated the ignorance, viewing things as object real. Why not? Why they have not eradicated the ignorance, grasping at the object existence? Why not?
Because they have not seen the wisdom, realizing the wisdom of...
Perfect. Because they have not eradicated the ignorance, grasping true existence, because they do not have the wisdom realizing the emptiness of objective existence. You agree, Hamale? All of you agree with Hamale? Good. So this is, say, think of yourself as Prasangika, and then you will understand very, very well. So it says, because it is different, line 4, because it is 44, verse 44, line 4. Because it is difficult for those endowed with minds apprehending true existence. Who? Arhats, which I identified as arhats. These people still have the apprehension of objective existence. For these people, true existence of the apprehending true existence, to posit the visibility of nirvana, to posit that they attain nirvana is very difficult, because they cannot eradicate the grasping at true existence, because they don't have the wisdom to see the emptiness of objective existence. Okay. Now the following debates, they are very important for our knowledge. Suppose you reply, who is that you? Non-Prasangika camp, right? Did you say Prasangika? Okay. It's actually not you, it's me. You're getting it? You should be saying you to me. Suppose you reply, but they are liberated. So these beings, so now I'm saying it. Okay, these people, they are already liberated. They attain nirvana. They are liberated. Why? Because they have abandoned afflictions. You agree? Not agree? Okay. Shundara comes with me. She says, yes, I agree. Right? Okay, how many of you don't agree? So these people meaning who I identified as arhats, they have not abandoned afflictions. I said they have abandoned afflictions. So therefore they are arhats. So you say yes, no. Then Shindal will say yes with me. Others will say no, right? No. Okay, so why no? Why no? Why no? Let's see. Next page. But they feel liberated because they abandon afflictions. Well, that liberation, at the most, what would you say? At the most. But look at their calmness, right? What would you say? Oh, they have abandoned the gross afflictions. They have not abandoned the subtle affliction. You get it? This is how you would respond. You agree? Not agree? Hey, what happens with Prasangika? Very passive Prasangikas. Right? Okay. Well, that liberation, meaning that the liberation which I identified as liberation, that liberation must occur immediately upon overcoming just the manifest afflictions. Manifest meaning the gross manifest afflictions. However, despite their lacking gross afflictions, these who I identify as afflictions, no, not afflictions, identify as arhats. So they don't have the gross afflictions. Gross affliction meaning afflictions triggered by ignorance, viewing things as autonomous, substantial, real. So all these afflictions are driven by cognitive error. So cognitive error, one is very subtle, seeing things as objective real, and one is very gross, seeing things as autonomous, substantial, real. So they have abandoned the afflictions triggered by the ignorance, misconceiving things as autonomous, substantial, real, but the afflictions are not eradicated, which are triggered by the ignorance, misconceiving things as objective, real. So gross one is eradicated, but it doesn't mean that afflictions are eradicated. However, despite their lacking gross afflictions, they have the karmic potential to propel them to another samsaric birth. Meaning that if you are arhat, you will not take birth anymore. Yes, you agree? You will not take samsaric birth once anymore. So, but they will. These people, you are telling me that these people who you identify as arhats, after their death, they will again have to take birth in samsara because they have the projecting karmas to through samsara. You understood? Okay, now if you say yes, let me ask you a question. My question is, from arhats, you identify as arhats, you, prasangikas, you identify arhats, they also have the contaminated karmas. They also still have the karmas. They have no afflictions, but they still have the karmas. So if you tell me that these people who I identify as the arhats, so they are not arhats, they will take samsaric birth again because they have the karmas, then your arhats also have the karmas. So what is your response? Anna, you will give the answer, response? Yes. Here. So listen.
I think it comes back to the 12 links of dependent origination, and that they still have nirvana while they're alive. They have nirvana with residue, and when they die, they're nirvana without residue, and they have overcome the self-grasping ignorance, and therefore they haven't overcome the seeds of. They're still experiencing karma while they're alive. But when they pass away, they will not. They've overcome the projecting karma.
But don't forget how you rejected me. You said that the people who you identified as arhats said not arhats because they will take birth again.
Yes.
Why? Because they have the karmas.
Yes.
So your arhats also have the karmas. So
yes.
Will they take rebirth?
No.
Why not? And one will take rebirth, your one not. Why not? And the reason that you gave me is also qualified with your arhat also.
Yes. No, because there's different types of karmas.
No. Okay, so that's Yenna. Okay, Mike. Okay, so Prasangika, listen. When you say Prasangika, right, you should have something. Okay.
Because for Prasangika, the afflictions are fully eliminated, so there's no craving, link 8 and link 9, craving and grasping and craving to actually propel them to the next rebirth.
No, they have the karma.
No, they have karma, but...
Okay, you accept. So this karma will again throw them to samsara.
But there's no craving and grasping that will propel them to the next rebirth.
Well, why craving? Why craving?
No, what I'm trying to say that for Prasangika point of view...
Mike.
Huh? Sorry, for Prasangika point of view, I mean for Prasangika...
Closer.
For Prasangikas, even though for the Prasangikas, when afflictions are fully eliminated, then you will be able to propel. But for those non-Prasangikas, when they are not fully arahat, they still have frictions, so you will still have afflictions. That's why the craving and grasping is still there to propel them to
So
the
what's
next.
the role of the afflictions?
The role afflictions.
To throw you in samsara is karma's job.
No, you need to have to be nurtured and germinated with the craving and grasping.
Wow, that's amazing prasangika. Thank you. Right. So other prasangikas, they follow behind this prasangika. We all prasangikas. Amazing. Okay. Okay, Ilengo, right? Okay, Mike.
The Prasangika arhats have karmas, but they are not contaminated.
Say it again.
They don't have contaminated karmas. They've eradicated the contaminated karmas.
Are you sure? So they still have the, okay, you asked the first prasangika, do they have contaminated karmas? Ilengo, look at your prasangika head. So, just, hey, contaminated karmas are there, right? Okay, so NTC have to surrender to NMC, not NMC 2, NMC 1. Okay, they have contaminated karmas. You getting it? They have contaminated karmas. Okay, now drishti.
The prasangikas don't have the karmas.
Closer.
The prasangikas,
Ravena, why not louder? Yes, speak.
the prasangikas don't have the karma to suffer, whereas
The arhats according to the prasangika. Don't say prasangikas.
sorry. The arhats, according to the prasangikas, don't have the karma to suffer in the samsara, as they've already went past all the sufferings, especially the all pervasive contaminated conditioned suffering, all pervasive conditioned suffering, which is involuntary rebirth in samsara.
Okay, what is the boss prasangika say? What did she say? Okay, we need to have the facts. You're getting it? The fact is produced by the boss prasangika. Okay, let me say this again. So what the Yenla said is that they have the contaminated karmas, and they also have the contaminated karmas giving rise to suffering. Even the arhats, they have suffering. Don't forget it. Even the arhats have the suffering. For example, like, the only thing is that the arhats, for them, the suffering does not translate into the mental suffering. There is no mental suffering. They have abandoned mental suffering, but the physical suffering is there for the arhats. You're getting it? And these are the results of the karma. Karmas are still operating. Now the thing is that samsara means cyclic birth. Cyclic birth is not, it's stopped. So cyclic birth is a result of contaminated karmas, projecting contaminated karmas. They have projecting contaminated karmas, but they are not functional. Why not functional? In order for these karma to operate, it is like the seeds of the poisonous tree. Seeds of the poisonous tree, active seeds of the poisonous tree, but as long as I keep it on the table, as long as I keep them on the table, not meet with the water, these seeds will never germinate. You're getting it? So they have already cut the water-like afflictions. Afflictions are required as the water to germinate the seeds. So seeds are there, but the water is removed. So therefore these seeds never germinate. You're getting it? This is the answer given by Yenla. Yenla, is this answer? Yes. So what is that water like? This water is like the craving and attachment. For example, who said it? Anna said it. The 12 links of dependent origination. Okay, is there anybody who likes to show us where the 12 links of dependent origination painting is? The Wheel of Life painting? Which page? 3 to 8. And in fact, this book is really, really, really helpful. So what you got is your copy. Just keep it, because many of the important things you require are all here. If possible, try to know the table of contents. Later on, whenever some teaching is happening, most likely these root texts are here in this. Okay, so if you look at the painting, which is on page 328, you see that there's a wheel which the demon is holding, a wheel, and the wheel has how many circles there? And there are 4 wheels, inside, innermost, second innermost, third and fourth. Outermost circle, in the outermost wheel, outermost circle, how many factions, how many sections are there? 12 sections are there. So, I don't want to go into detail, and you will have to study this. And this, you want to study more in detail, I think there's a book by Venerable Geshe Sonam Rinchen, amazingly great teacher, Venerable Geshe Sonam Rinchen, and the translator Ruth Sonam. This amazing book. In fact, I would say that the books by Geshe Sonam Rinchen, whether on emptiness, whether on Bodhisattva's path, also whatever, and the translator is amazing. Ruth Sonam, a lady, Israeli? Yes, she is. Amazing translator. So precise. And English is so good. And the teacher is amazingly authentic, highly realized, accomplished master. So all their books, they are very reliable. Simply because it's a book, please don't think that this is something, I have a book on emptiness. Make sure that books are very reliable. And the books by Venerable Geshe Sonam Rinchen, they're extremely reliable. And sometimes the language is an issue, but with Geshe Sonam Rinchen, language is not an issue. Language is a beautiful language. Translations are so accurate by Ruth Sonam. I have a deep respect for this lady, the translator, who now is in her 80s. She's amazing. Okay, all the books by Venerable Geshe Sonam Rinchen, translated by Ruth Sonam, they're all very authentic. So, the whole explanation of this wheel of life, you'll find a separate book by Geshe Sonam Rinchen, but translated by Ruth Sonam. So you can start from there. To make it very quick, in the wheel of life, the outermost circle, the demon's mouth, to the right side of the demon's mouth, on the last circle, we see the old blind men, symbolic of ignorance, and to the second is the karma. And the painting is not too clear. For some, the painting is very good. Okay. For the Russians, the painting is very good. Russians are, whoever took the initiative, they are smart. Right? For the English speaking, I took the initiative to print the book. The first book, I took the initiative. I gave the clear instruction. The painting must be very clear, and I was looking for the paintings which are very clear. I put all the effort to get it, and finally, second edition, third edition, fourth edition. What is this edition? Most likely, 7th or 8th edition. 7th edition. With 7th edition, then the other people, they forgot all these details. Publish. And then just print it without care. All these, okay. Second is the potter giving shape to the parts. So there's a karma which gives shapes to our life. What your next life is going to be like is shaped by the karma. So this is a depiction of the karma. And this karma, in order to ripen it to throw you into the next life. Let's go to number 8. What is number 8? If from the right of the demon's fang, from there you go down, count 7. No, count 8. What is the 8? What do you see there? What do you see in the picture? Okay, you will not see it too well, don't worry. The Russians, tell me. Huh? You don't see. No, in the painting, what do you see in the painting? Your painting must be very good. 8, yes. Link number 8. What is he? Huh? Ah, yes. What's your name? Cindy. Okay, Cindy is saying that somebody is drinking alcohol. Yes. This is a depiction of the alcoholic. Alcohol is somebody who's addicted to alcohol. The moment he or she sees alcohol, then what happens? Craving comes, attachment. That is number 8. What is number 9? What do you see number 9? A monkey grabbing a fruit, and when the monkeys grab the fruit is what like that? Grasping, right? If not, thank you. If not, say, okay, take it nicely and thank you. No, just hold it, snatch it, because of the excessive greed. It's just symbolic. And don't say the poor monkey, why are you blaming the monkeys, right? Again, I'll be in problem. Right? We should be very careful in today's world. So whatever I say, I should be very careful. Right? And then, of course, the people who are there to support the monkeys. The monkeys don't care. Right? For monkeys, whatever I say, they don't care. As long as they got the fruit, it's fine. But then people, they create problem. Right? Why he's saying the monkeys are greedy? Right? I'll be in problem. Right? Okay, it doesn't matter. So, number 8 is craving, number 9 is grasping. Number 9 is the intensified version of the craving. The difference between number 8 and number 9 is that number 9 is the intensified version of the craving. So, these two like the water, the seed is like the karma. Karma is like the seed. The seed has to be germinated, the seed which is seen in number 2. That number 2 karma, seed like number 2 karma, has to be germinated by the water of number 8 and number 9. Craving and grasping. Craving and grasping are the afflictions. And afflictions, root of affliction is self-grasping ignorance. When self-grasping ignorance is gone, craving, grasping gone. When 8 and 9 are gone, it's just a seed. There's no water. Just a seed, it will never germinate into the next rebirth. So you are freed from the rebirth. So this is an answer. You getting it? So you the Prasangika, what I said that these are arhats, and you said they are not arhats. Why? Because they will have to take rebirth. Why they have to take rebirth? They still have the contaminated karmas, projecting contaminated karmas. And your arhats also have contaminated karmas. Yes, that's true. But my arhats, who have the contaminated karmas, they don't have the germinating craving and grasping. They don't have the water to germinate the karma with the grasping, craving and the grasping. And in your case, there is the craving and the grasping. Okay. Continue reading this. 46. Suppose you then say, but it is definite that they do not have craving. So now I say, who's I? Non-Prasangika group. And you are the Prasangika group. So non-Prasangika group says that, suppose you then say, but it is definite they meaning my arhats. My arhats, they do not have the craving. Number 8 and number 9. They don't have the number 8 and number 9. They don't have craving as a condition for obtaining rebirth. Even if this craving is not entire, now you are saying, even this is your position, Prasangika position, even if this craving is not entirely a gross affliction, this gross affliction, so what are you saying is that these arhats, you identify arhats, they have craving. Their craving is not gross, it's very subtle craving. You getting it? Even if this craving is not entirely a gross affliction, why does it not exist on 2 levels? Craving is of 2 levels. What you identify, you meaning non-Prasangika group, what you identify as craving is gross one, is a gross one. And there's a subtler craving also which you don't identify. You're getting it? So even though they eradicate the, like, come. Come. Okay. So now let's go back to the point that what I identified as arhats. So what you are saying that they are not arhats. Why not? They still have to take rebirth. Why they have to take rebirth? You said that they have projecting karmas. And I said that your arhats also projecting karmas. So you say, yes, that's true. But the difference is, yes, this is Namdullah. Okay, yes, Maya. So there is no, okay, Maya, the mic.
They still have the karma, but the seeds are in the next karma rebirth, but they don't have the water. What is the water? Is the craving and the grasping. And now is the question, but they might still have the grasping, which is subtle.
Grasping. Very
Yes.
good.
So-
Thank you. Okay, did you agree with Maya? Okay. So is it Leon who answered very positively? Thank you. So be active like Leon. Right? Okay. So what you said is, yes, both have the projecting karmas to throw into samsara, but your arhats, although they have the projecting karmas to throw into samsara, but these karmas, in order to throw into samsara, these karmas require the water-like craving and grasping to germinate, to make this karma throw us into samsara. So they don't have the what? They don't have the craving and the grasping. Why don't they have the craving grasping? Your arhats, why they don't have the craving grasping? Why? Why not? Huh? Why no attachment? Why not?
Because they meditated correctly on the emptiness.
Very good.
That-
Because they have abandoned the self-grasping ignorance, which perceives things as objectively real. That is eradicated, then all the craving, grasping, your name?
Natalia.
Natalia. What Natalia said, they have abandoned the craving and the grasping because they have abandoned the root of that, which is the ignorance, grasping at things as object real. That is eradicated by meditating on the emptiness of objective existence. How many agree with Natalia? Very good. Okay. Now, I say that my arhats, they also don't have craving and grasping. What do you say? They do have. But look at them. You give the cheesecake, they'll say, okay, no problem. And then you take away their mobiles, no issue. Right? So they don't have craving so forth. So, hey, give me an answer. Huh? Serious hands? Nicola.
They have not abandoned craving and grasping from the root. Their afflictions are...
Okay, so they still have this subtle craving and grasping, although the gross one is not there. Say, craving for the cheesecake and aversion to, mobiles having to be submitted. These are all very gross afflictions. They have erratic gross afflictions. They still have the subtle craving and the grasping. Okay, good. 46. 46. Suppose you then say, but it's definite that they do not have the craving as a condition for obtaining rebirth. Now you are saying, even if this craving is not the craving that they have craving. But I say that no, they don't have craving. You said yes. What you say is that craving that you said no is a gross craving. It is not there, but what the craving that they have is the subtle one. Even if this craving is not entirely gross affliction, why does it not exist on two levels? Grosser and subtle. The grosser which you identify, and the subtle which you cannot identify. The subtle one also, like the ignorance does. Ignorance, when they give the example should be acceptable to both sides. So ignorance, I also accept that it is gross and subtle. And you said ignorance, gross and subtle. I say gross ignorance is Ignorance believing in things as permanent, unitary, independent reality. And the gross subtle one is? What is autonomous? It's not ignorance. Ignorance viewing things as autonomous, substantial, real. So there's a subtle one. So I say the ignorance 2 levels. You said ignorance 2 levels. I say ignorance 2 levels. And then you are saying that just the ignorance 2 levels, why not the attachment also has 2 levels, gross and subtle. So gross may be abandoned, but the subtle is still there. 47. Through the false feeling. Now you say that I say that how do you know that is the subtle craving? Okay. Do you remember that craving, the 3 poisons? What 3 poisons? Hey, Shohili, what are the 3 poisons?
Ignorance, attachment, and aversion.
Proper order.
Okay. Attachment, aversion, ignorance.
Very good. Okay, she's deliberately trying to break the conventions. Right? Okay, I'm joking. So attachment, aversion, ignorance. It is not necessary you should have these 3 things order, but the moment say you want to make things very effective. So because you want to discuss with somebody who is learned, and somebody learned, they don't want to spend too much time. They want to see how informed you are. If you're very informed, they will then see that, oh, it's worth that I spend time with this person. If they think that you are just a very beginner, then they will just say something and leave you. So therefore, if you say in proper order, this person is well informed. Whereas if you do say disorganized, they will say it's not so often, and then explain to you something very simple. Sometimes, who study in Tibet house, who are really good in philosophy, really good, and then they go to they meet with some teachers or some Geshes, Khenpos and so forth, particularly when meeting with really good ones. Then how they make the presentations, they present in a very simple way, and they will also think that you are very basic. Then they will not give you the deep answers. So I tell them that make sure that you get across the question very clearly, and think even the words, make sure you use the technical words. Even the order, make sure that they are in proper sequence. How very standard sequence. Then the teacher will just listen to how you present it, will get the impression that you are well informed, you are well read. Then they will take it seriously. Concept-wise, shallow, the sequence or no sequence, then they say, okay, this is just a beginner. And they will give you very simple answers. Okay. So what we said is that there are 3 emotions, poisons, 3 poisonous emotions. These 3 poisonous emotions arise from what? Arise from 3 different feelings. You remember? We discussed in great detail. From the pleasant feeling, what arises? Attachment arises. From the unpleasant feeling, what arises? Aversion arises. Then from the neutral feelings, what arises? Ignorance arises. This is what we learn. And we also learn about the contaminated, the feelings will give rise to what is that? From neutral feelings, ignorance arises. How? So Shohili said that we have no choice other than to have one of these 3 feelings. With these 3 feelings, as the 3 poisons arise, where's the hope? This is her question. You getting it? This is what we discussed. Okay. So, with this, now the answer is coming here. Bodhisattva Shantideva, he wrote the answer here. Shohili, this is for you. Right? It's not the full, it's a part of it. The full will come later. More complicated one will come later. This is the easy one. So easy one, it says that, so now you are saying that they have which they? My version of the non-Prasangikas, the version of the arhats, they still have the craving. Why craving? They have the pleasant feelings. They have the pleasant feelings. With the pleasant feelings, craving will arise. Then what I will say is, your arhats also have pleasant feelings, right? You give cheesecake to them, they also have pleasant feelings. And then craving should arise in them also. Again, you will say, no, they're both feelings, but still in your case, it'll trigger attachment. And the arhats, from the Prasangika point of view, the attachment will not be triggered. Okay. Be ready with the question. Be ready to give the answer to my question. You're getting, my question will come. Okay. 47. Through the force of feeling, which means that these arhats, and they have this, what I has, okay, let's call it purported arhats. This word you see, purported, means which is not real arhats, but I call them as arhats. So, purported arhats. Through the force of feeling, they have the feelings, pleasant feelings there, unpleasant feelings are there, neutral feelings are there. Because with pleasant feeling, there's a craving. And feeling exists in these purported arhats as well. So mind having true existence as its object. So difference between your arhat and my arhat, what's the difference? Is that, in your case, the feelings are there, but the feelings will not trigger, pleasant feelings will not trigger attachment. Why? Because there's no self-grasping ignorance. Because the grasping is object of existence. In my case, arhats, they have the feelings, and the feelings will trigger attachment because they still have the ignorance, grasping at things as objectively real. You got it? Are you ready for the question? Okay, my question to you is that, is it true that arhats that you presented as arhats and the beings who are identified as arhats, purported arhats, so these two both have the pleasant feelings, yes? Louder. Yes. Wow, that's good. Okay, so both with the pleasant feelings, and you said that the purported arhats, they have the feelings, these pleasant feelings will trigger attachment. And the arhats which you identified, why don't the pleasant feelings in them, why don't they trigger attachment? Why not? This is samsara.
Prasangika's arhats do not believe that the pleasant feelings are objectively real, so attachment does not rise.
So the arhats as identified as prasangikas, they have the feeling, pleasant feelings, but they don't see the pleasant feelings, they don't view the pleasant feelings as objectively real. How many agree with this, samsara? Good. Okay, Pushpaji, same answer? Or would you mind repeat it? Mike?
The arhat from Prasangika, they don't experience this objective reality.
Wonderful.
So they have this infinite happiness, unlike.
I don't know whether they have infinite happiness, but what you said is right. That to trigger attachment, it requires the belief in objective existence, and they have already eradicated the belief in objective existence. Very good. Are you good? Okay, 47, reading again. Through the force of feeling, there is craving. And the feeling exists in those purported arhats as well. Now, not only the feeling, they also have the belief in objective existence. So mind having true existence, mind having objective existence as its objects, is what some people are in doubt. What is that some people? Are the purported arhats they have. Okay. Are you ready for my real question? Are you ready for my real question? Hey, Prasangikas, what happened? Yes? Leon, louder. Ready? Oh, you're good. Your yes is slightly different from the early one. This one is a little stressed. Yes. All right. Okay, my question to you. Okay, this is very important question. You're getting this very important question. Okay. Only one Geshe. And Getahona's there, and Getahona's there, and all these, okay. The NMC are all there. Hey, Yanla, don't look down. Be ready. Dr. Andijin, be ready. Where's Srimla? Yes, be ready, right? Okay. My question is that why? If there is ignorance viewing things as object real, the pleasant feeling should trigger attachment. Why? Okay, how many of you think you have answers? Whether it's correct, not correct, don't worry. Correct, not correct, don't worry. How many of you think you have answers? Raise hands. Okay, Changchula, would you mind giving the answer? Mike. Mike?
Hello?
Yes.
Because the person still believes in objective existence, so when the pleasant feeling arises, it's objectively real.
So, if the pleasant feeling is viewed as object real, why should there be the craving? Walter?
Я попробую предположить. Ну вот, когда ощущается пустота, она имеет очень, опять же, предположение, да, очень приятное ощущение. И может быть зацепка за вот эту пустоту. Ну, то есть это может быть ассоциация с вот этим состоянием и зацепка к нему.
Geshe, I will try to guess. When I experience emptiness, it gives rise to the pleasant feelings, and therefore, because of these pleasant feelings, I experience attachment to these feelings while in the experience of emptiness.
Okay. Good. Okay, Prerag. Over there. This is a very important question. If you, number one, first this should be intellectually answered. And then this intellectually, say one should get a conviction through reflection, number two. And then it should be experiential. So this is how we have to move. If this is answered on these three levels, you will see that this is the path to liberation. Okay, yes, Prerak.
So Geshe, when there is pleasant feeling along with ignorance, there is an object I'm trying to grasp at. For example, a flower, which I'm believing is real. Hence, the craving or attachment arises. But if we apply the wisdom of emptiness, of non-objective, objective existence not being real, that means we'll negate the object of existence, that is the flower. And hence there is nothing to objectively grasp at. So the attachment.
But there's no object to be grasped at.
Sorry?
There's nothing objectively to be grasped at.
Objectively to be grasped.
But there's an object to be grasped at.
Yeah, but it is not objectively.
When IIT got stuck, then the hope is so less.
Because it is not objectively real.
No, this is not my question. So what you said is that when you see the emptiness of the objective existence of the flower, so you come to realize that there's no objectively existent flower to grasp at. So the challenge is that although I agree with you that there's no objectively, you realize that there's no objectively flower to be grasped at, but there's some object to grasp at. Objective to be grasped at versus object to be grasped at. So there's some object to be grasped at. So why not there is a craving?
I'm not sure anymore.
Okay, this is Shambhala. Okay, this is a very important question.
Geshe, I will also try. I ask some help from Nagarjuna, and I read a verse you read to us. Ceasing of karmas and afflictions leads to nirvana. karmas and afflictions arise from conceptual thought. These arise from mental elaborations, grasping a true existence. Elaborations cease by or into emptiness. So I think the relevant line is this arise from mental elaborations, grasping a true existence. If there is no grasping a true existence, because realizing the emptiness of objective existence, then the elaborations does not arise. And the attachment is due to the elaborations.
So this is what we already said it. So I already learned what Arjuna is saying. That where there's a pleasant feeling, and viewing the pleasant feeling is objectively real, then the grasping arises. This is what you're repeating. My question is why? Why, if the pleasant feeling arises as the seen as objectively real, why should there be the craving? Why should there be the attachment? Why? This question. So I'm not asking whether the attachment arises or not. This is not my question. So I say that, okay, this is your position. That the attachment arises when you see the pleasant feelings objectively real. My question is why? This is not responded here.
The attachment is the attachment is like a wrong state of mind, and it requires and if you hold the object correctly with the wisdom of emptiness, then there is no wrong state of mind on basis of which the attachment will arise.
Still the question arises. Why? Okay, gentlemen here. Yes.
Попробую предположить, что из-за неверного развлечения. Если мы считаем, что привязанность – это карма, а к ней привели приятные ощущения, то, соответственно, приятные ощущения возникли из-за неверного развлечения. Если следовать концепции 5 ментальных факторов.
Geshe-la, I will try to guess. I think the answer lies in the incorrect discrimination, and I'm talking about the 5 omnipresent mental factor. And if I have incorrect mental factor of discrimination, it therefore leads to attachment and so forth.
Okay, so this is your name? Okay. What Raman said is perfectly correct. So what he said is correct. The thing is that my question is say all these explanations come, fun explanation is given, and then I ask the question after the fun position. So this answer you will not find there. So what Raman gave, the answer he gave is what is found in the book, which he beautifully presented. But the answer is beyond that. Sheikh.
I'll try to answer. My answer is conviction in cause and effect. Cause being the object is real, effect being the feeling, and then I have attachment.
So when the object is there, feelings here, attachment comes.
But this conviction that if I see the object is real, a feeling will arise, I get attached.
Okay, this is what I'm saying. Object is real, not.
The conviction is the why. The conviction is the why.
Can I ask
if
question?
I lose, oh sorry. Yes, excuse me. Yes.
So, right, Sheikh is with the armor, right? Right. Okay, I'm asking question. You put the armor.
Sorry.
Okay, good. Thank you. And what you said, you are saying something experiential. Like I could sense it. Very good. I really appreciate it. Okay, Bindu. Bindu from Goa.
Yes. I think the feeling, and the Prasangika arhat would realize that the feeling is also objectively unreal.
Okay, the Prasangika realizes that even the feeling is also objectively unreal. In other words, the feeling is objectively non-existent.
Yes.
But the feeling exists.
Yes.
So therefore, one can attach to the feeling.
No.
Why not?
Because it's recognized that feeling is unreal. As in
Yeah, feeling is unreal, objectively it's not real, but feeling is there.
Yeah, but there is emptiness then. There is emptiness, the realization that the feeling is also emptiness.
If you don't,
Because-
if you don't
because-
meditate on emptiness,
Emptiness of
so you should
objective
always have
reality.
emptiness. If you, the moment emptiness is gone, attachment comes.
Yes.
Okay, which means arhats. They 24/7, they no arhats are eating food, you know. So when eating food, attachment comes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, we have interesting the Galila there.
Geshe, I'll try. The feeling, I think the feeling comes from contact, and the contact comes due to the dualistic mind. And then when we see something there, then this is a dualistic mind. And the non-dual mind can only be able to get rid of the afflictions.
Okay, so what Binduji is saying and what Galila is saying, in a way these two are similar, but what Galila is saying is using a different vocabulary, saying that the feelings they arise from the discrimination, which in turn arises from the contact and the attention. So with the contact and the attention, information, the discrimination gets a dualistic perception. Having a dualistic perception, object and subject, dualistic. With the dualism, then the possibility for the attachment is happening. Okay, this makes sense. Leon.
Thank you. I repeat the question. Your question, Geshe, was why, if we see feelings objectively real, why there comes the attachment, right?
Yes.
So, why there is attachment, I think, if I'm correct, that the Buddha nature in us, it's the nature that forces us to have happiness and to abandon suffering.
Yes.
So, in the presence of objectively existent feeling, which is pleasant, we start to believe that this is happiness. So, because of we are driven by our nature, we start to have an attachment, because this seems to be the way to happiness.
Okay, so when we believe actually it is suffering, but it's not happiness. If you believe it is the happiness, then attachment comes.
Yes, because we deceived by
Okay,
appearance.
so if you don't see it as happiness, we will not feel attached to. Is what I'm saying?
Yes.
If we believe it is happiness, then attachment comes.
Yes.
If you don't see as the happiness, then the attachment will not come.
Yes.
If we see as suffering, then the aversion comes.
Yes.
So they see them as suffering. It's because it's suffering, right?
Yes.
So therefore they feel aversion.
If they're objectively existent, so you just you change the perception. Yeah. So we will have aversion.
So do they see this as suffering or happiness?
Depends on the conceptualization.
Okay, so these are the realized beings.
If we realize being who perceive emptiness
see them as
directly,
suffering. Yes, see
no,
this as suffering.
they see them as objectively
Empty.
free. Yeah, objectively empty, like free from it.
So they are not always thinking of emptiness all the time.
Again, please.
They are not always thinking of emptiness. They are always. It's not that always they are meditating emptiness. There are times when they are not meditating emptiness also.
Well, it depends on the level of the practitioner.
So for the arhats.
For arhats.
Arhats, not the Bodhisattva 8 level above. 8 level above, you are right. Always emptiness is there. But for the arhats, normal arhats, they don't have this. So they have to switch between the two.
Yes.
So without the wisdom emptiness, then attachment comes. Okay, think. The next. Here. Yes.
Гешела, я думаю, что привязанность возникает в силу того, что мы не устранили объективность самого ума.
Geshe-la, I think that the attachment arises because we have not got rid of the objectivity of our own mind.
Say it again.
I think that attachment arises because we have not gotten rid of objectivity of our own mind.
Okay, we haven't gotten rid of the
Objectivity.
perception of the objectivity of our own mind. Okay. Good, very good. So what I would say is that, okay, Audrey-la.
Okay, Geshe-la, it's a hunch and I'm not 100% sure. But the question is, if you have the ignorance of objective existence and you have a pleasant feeling, why should it trigger craving? Isn't that the
Yes,
question?
yes, yes.
Because self-cherishing attitude is also there. Is that the
So?
answer? So that then you want things. So it's self-grasping ignorance and self-cherishing attitude.
If these two are there, why do we, crave for that?
Because you want things for yourself, in that sense. Because that self-cherishing attitude is there.
Then
So that triggers craving, no?
self-grasping there is not required. Just by self-cherishing, you see the object there, attention should come. Okay, so the gentleman over there. Your name?
Hello, my name is Slava.
Slava, yes.
Thank you. Я не очень хорош в терминологии, но я пришел сюда учиться, конечно, хочется сказать правильно, поэтому попробую. Я думаю, что пока я понимаю, что я как отдельная личность, цветок как отдельный объект, у меня возникает чувство к нему, и пока я понимаю, что все это отдельно, у меня возникает жажда к повторению этого опыта. И поэтому пока я не понимаю, что все это пустотно и едино, у меня возникает жажда к этому. Желание повторения этого опыта, который никогда не случится, потому что все это пустотно.
Venerable Geshe-la, my name is Slava. I'm new to here and I don't know terminology so well, but I came here to learn. According to my understanding, I perceive myself as something unitary. And likewise, I perceive a flower or any external object as a distinct entity. So I, as a person and an object I interact with, for example, a flower, are two separated, distinct entities. And therefore, on the basis of this, attachment arises. And why the attachment arises? Because I crave to continue this experience of interaction between myself as an agent and the external object. So I crave to continue interact with the outer objects.
Okay. Thank you so much, Slava. Thank you. Very good. I would say that all your answers are correct. Still, still okay over there.
Извиняюсь, я еще не уверен, но хочу предположить. Пока еще, я так понимаю, что не устранена еще, неведение еще не устранено, поэтому личность, архат, до сих пор находится под воздействием кармы. Может быть, это мое предположение.
Venerable Geshe-la, I'm not confident in my answer, but I'd like to guess. As long as we have self-grasping ignorance, I, myself, is still being under the influence of karmas, and therefore that's my answer.
Okay, in fact, I agree with you. Your name?
Tenzin Namdak.
Tenzin Namdak. Thank you. Tenzin Namdak. Thank you. I agree with the answer. So the S. Okay, there are many hands coming up. I know. Okay, let me try a Nishok. Yes, Nishok. So others just by seeing your face, I can know what's your answer. Nishu, I'm not too sure. Okay.
Well, neither am I. So, I think so. Completely experiential, no facts, no theory. I think when when you see a pleasant feeling as objectively real, I think you want that pleasant feeling to continue as long as possible. You want to, that's why I think the craving or the attachment arises. You want to prolong that moment or experience as much as possible. I think
When you see the object as object, let's say the pleasant feeling is object real, then the wanting to sustain that experience, which means wanting to have it for longer, that will come. Why? Okay, others I know what answers they're going to give. I know what answers you're going to give. Okay, this girl. Yesterday she said something very interesting. So maybe a different answer is coming. Others I know. Your answers are going to be in line with Arjun's answer. I know. Right, I know that. Okay, yes.
No, Geshe, now
Your
it's
name?
too much. Olga.
Olga, yes.
Now it's too much pressure on me, but all the answers are very good. I mean, I'm not judging, but I'm just very pleased also. Do we miss just one word? It's permanence. So
Say it again.
maybe we miss just one word in the explanation, which is permanence. No, okay.
I just said.
No, I mean, when there is craving, I consider that this object is permanent, and so I can get the permanence.
Not necessary. But when you see the object is permanent, then the grasping can become very strong. But here, so these purported arhats, they've already abandoned the misconception of things as permanent. That's already abandoned. For them, this is not a problem. So still they have the attachment. Why? So you are saying, you the Prasangika is saying, because they have the pleasant feeling. But the pleasant feeling, viewing the pleasant feeling as object real, invariably attachment will ensue. Attachment arise. So permanence is already got rid of by these arhats, the purported arhats. Okay, so I know all your answers are very good. But let's say that how all of you, if combined together, we see how Arhat explained afflictions arising building from the self-grasping ignorance, and from there to the inappropriate attention, and then they say self-grasping ignorance with the self-centered attitude kicking in, then making it manifest into gross forms, inappropriate attention. This is so nice for me, self-centered attitude. So they kick in and then manifest from gross, the attachment, aversion, so forth, then going into the contrarian karmas. Yes, I agree. Still the question is, so this link between the self-grasping ignorance and the attachment, it arises. Why? How? This is what I'm seeking. You're getting it? So if you have the answers, you reflect on this more, and you should be, okay, the lady over there.
Здравствуйте, меня зовут Намцалма. Это наживка, ловушка.
Okay, I'll just translate directly. So my name is Namsalma, and it is a bait.
Okay, it's a bait. But why not for you? Why not for your arhats? Why it is not a bait for your arhats? Arhats presented by the Prasangikas. For them, why it is not a bait? So bait is a connotation to be glued. You're right. But for your arhats, they also have the pleasant feeling. Okay. So I can see that all your answers here, there. Your answers are going to Arjun's answer. I know. Yeah, I'm very sure of that. Okay. Okay. The Kim.
Geshe-la, I will try. So despite all have mentioned the self-grasping ignorance, right, which is, you know, the fabric of all this affliction. But I think at the same time, I just add a new word to it is when we have this self-grasping ignorance, we also have this element of viewing, you know, the I. And when we see I, then we have the element of mind. So therefore, when we have things that is mind, so with this mind, then, you know, whatever, when we see things as objectively real due to this SGI, self-grasping ignorance, therefore this feeling of, you know, pleasant feelings is triggered when we see object that is objectively real and we get attracted to it. So my addition to this is just the word mind. I don't know whether
So what Kim is saying, that you have this self-grasping ignorance related to the self, I, and then it is very real because that this I, not just I, objectively exists as I, and then you view as mine, objectively exists as mine. When with this, then the pleasant feeling arises, objectively exists as pleasant feeling, then the attachment arises. The question is why? Okay, I know that you have many hands coming up. I'm very sorry, some of the hands coming since a long time ago. Okay, because that your answer is so good, I know. Your answer is going to be so good, it's going to Arinigarjuna. So nobody can reject it. So just hold it for the time being. This is a very important question. Try to get a glimpse of emptiness. Try to get a glimpse. Don't feel complacent. Don't feel complacent with little study that you have done, like few days, few months, 1 or 2 years. Don't feel complacent. Study, keep studying more, reflect more, study more, and particularly the books written by the authentic masters, or in Nagarjuna, Acharya Chandrakriti, Bodhisattva Deva, then the commentaries by Lama Tsongkhapa, and so forth. And the one one book that I would suggest, in fact, the one book that I already mentioned is His Holiness's book, A Guide to How to See Yourself as You Really Are. How to See Yourself as You Really Are. And this book is the outcome of His Holiness's teaching, worked on by Professor Jeffrey Hopkins. Professor Jeffrey Hopkins, I think it was the teaching that His Holiness gave many years ago, and it was around which year? The teaching was given way before, and Professor Jeffrey Hopkins then put he must have translated the teaching for His Holiness. Then later, around 2007 or 8, Professor Jeffrey Hopkins started to compile this in form of a book. And then I know that when the book was coming into shape, so this book would be very helpful. Okay. So which verse we're reading? 47. 47. Through the force of feeling, there is craving, and feeling exists in those purported others as well. So mind having true existence as its object is what some people are endowed with. 48. A mind that is parted from the experience of emptiness, which means the purported arhats. So their mind is parted from the experience of emptiness. They don't have the emptiness, the wisdom of emptiness of objective existence. So may block afflictions for them through their own meditation, may stop afflictions, the gross afflictions, may stop afflictions, gross afflictions, but they will arise once again. When the situation arises, when the conditions arises, again the afflictions will come back. For example, how many of you, when you are having cheesecake or momos? Yeah, how the momos, raise hands? Okay, not the non-veg, veg momos. You getting it? Non-veg, not good. Okay, so let's say the momos. The first piece is good, very delicious. Then piece 5 is good, 5th piece is good, 10th piece is good, right? Tenzishi, so. Then some no. Okay, the 20th momo? No way. No, I made it for you. 30th one, you have to eat it. Then it throws up. You getting it? And then I say, momo, attachment comes? No comes. Attachment stops. Although the momo is there, but the attachment stops. You getting it? Then the next day, momo? No. After a few months, momo? Yes. So your attachment subsides for some time and again it arises. So this is a problem. Without the wisdom of emptiness, attachment can subside temporarily and again can arise. So it says 48. A mind that is parted from the experience of emptiness may block afflictions temporarily, but they'll arise once again. Like conceptual discriminations arising after the meditative equipoise of non-discrimination, therefore one needs to meditate on emptiness. Okay, meditate equipoise of non-discrimination. This is what I'd like to share with you. So it's with respect to say we talked about the three realms: desire realm, form realm, formless realm. In the formless realm, there's one, the peak of existence, the top. That's also referred to as the merit concentration with discrimination, without discrimination. That top one is known as with discrimination, without discrimination. Why with discrimination? Because it is a mind. Where there's a mind, there must be the accompaniment of the mental factor of discrimination. Mind should have the discrimination. But, say, if you are to see somebody, the human being in this meditative state, who has attained that meditative state, and then when this person dies, will take birth there, and not up. It's like in the formal state. But before you die, you are in this state, people outside may see you as though like you are totally lifeless. Lifeless meaning no discrimination. So with discrimination, without discrimination. Meaning that with discrimination because it's a mind. Without discrimination because people don't see that you have a discrimination. Your discrimination is so subtle that the others cannot really witness that. They cannot see that. So this is known as and then when you actually attain that state and you take birth there, you will just stay in this experience in the form realm because you stay there for millions of years like this. In the state of discrimination, without the gross discriminations. Again, when the karma to throw you into the formless realm that exhausts, again you come back, the gross metals, the gross afflictions will again arise within you. So this is the meaning of like conceptual discriminations arising after the meditative equipoise of non-discrimination. Therefore, how to stabilize this? When will your afflictions being subsided to be stabilized, that is cut from the root, is when the self-grasping ignorance is eradicated by the wisdom of emptiness. So therefore, one needs to meditate on emptiness. Okay. 49. So again, if you accept as spoken by the Buddha, any speech, okay, that's fine. Okay, we'll stop here.